Sunday, December 23, 2001. Christmas was only 2 days away. In Ibadan, people were making their final preparations for the holiday. Markets were busy, families were traveling, churches were preparing for Christmas services. But at a private residence in the Bodija area of Ibadan, the country's Attorney General and Minister of Justice was about to become the target of a crime that would shock Nigeria. His name was Chief Bola Ige. He was 71 years old. And earlier that day, he had been going about his normal activities before returning to his residence for the Christmas period. According to contemporary accounts, Ige arrived back at his home from Abuja and went to his bedroom to rest. What happened next would become the central mystery of the case. Later that evening, assailants entered the residence. Ige was attacked inside his home and fatally shot. The killing was not merely the murder of a private citizen. The victim was Nigeria's chief law officer, a serving federal minister, and one of the country's most prominent politicians. Human Rights Watch later described his assassination as the most prominent political killing since President Olusegun Obasanjo's government came to power in 1999. The organization also noted that the exact motive was never confirmed, although there was broad agreement that the killing appeared political. News of the killing spread rapidly. Nigeria had lost one of its most recognizable public figures, but almost immediately another question emerged: who ordered it? Why would Bola Ige be targeted? Investigators and commentators considered the political environment surrounding Ige's death. One important area of attention was his home state of Osun. There had been serious political tensions between Governor Adebisi Akande and his deputy Iyola Omisore. Bola Ige was widely perceived as being aligned with the governor. Human Rights Watch reported that some observers believed the assassination could have been connected to those internal political struggles, but that was an explanation, not a proven conclusion. The precise motive was never established. That distinction would become extremely important as the investigation unfolded. The investigation begins. The police launched an investigation, suspects were arrested, and as investigators attempted to reconstruct what had happened inside the residence, the case increasingly moved into the political arena. By October 2002, 13 people had been formally charged with murder and conspiracy to murder, according to Human Rights Watch. The trial was due to begin shortly afterward, but the investigation did not end there. In December 2002, after being removed from the immunity attached to his position as deputy governor, Iyola Omisore was arrested in connection with the murder. Police described the arrest as part of their investigation into what they regarded as a political assassination. Omisore denied involvement. Now the case had become even more politically explosive. The prosecution would face another extraordinary obstacle. The trial involved multiple defendants and repeated changes of judges. In July 2003, Judge Mashood Abbas withdrew from the case after saying he had received death threats. He was reportedly the third judge to withdraw from the proceedings. A fourth judge was subsequently assigned to the case. For the public, this raised an uncomfortable question. If a case involving the country's former Attorney General could struggle to proceed normally, what did that say about the ability of Nigeria's young democracy to deliver justice in politically sensitive cases? What the evidence did and did not prove. This is where the story becomes particularly important. There were accusations, there were arrests, there were political theories, there were court proceedings. But an accusation is not a conviction, and a suspect being arrested does not establish guilt. The legal process ultimately failed to produce a conviction for Bola Ige's murder. A later International Commission of Jurists report noted that the various proceedings ended in acquittals and that despite the investigations, no person had ultimately been convicted for the killing. That leaves us with the central mystery. Someone killed Bola Ige. The investigation produced suspects. The courts examined the case, but the person or people ultimately responsible for ordering and carrying out the assassination were never conclusively established in court. For a man whose professional life had been devoted to law and justice, the irony was impossible to ignore. Bola Ige had spent decades arguing that Nigeria needed the rule of law. In December 2001, that principle was put to one of its greatest tests, and the question of whether justice had truly been served would remain long after the courtroom doors closed. Who killed Bola Ige? The next chapter follows the investigation through the arrests, the courtroom battles, the allegations surrounding the suspects, and the reasons the case ultimately failed to produce a definitive answer.